Am I the idiot for being hurt? My wife won't let me see the birth of our baby and is asking for space. My wife is 8 months pregnant with our first kid and she has been finalizing her birth plan. She included me in the process and I did my best to research and understand it. I went with her to see various doulas, picked a hospital together, established emergency plans, etc. I assumed I would be there for the birth, but she told me she didn't want me to see my daughter being born. She only wants her mother there and I could only come in once it's done to see the baby. It hurt like hell because I was obviously very excited about it. I asked why and she just said she'd be more comfortable that way. I said okay. I told her I'll let her do whatever makes her comfortable and I'll be on board with it, but that I'm very hurt and we'll need some space for a few days to take it in. I slept in the guest room and left before she woke up for work, and she's been blowing up my phone with texts about how it's unfair to punish her for doing what's best for the baby. She called and she was crying and telling me I'm putting so much stress on a pregnant woman for no reason and that I'm an idiot for that. I don't think needing space for a few days is wrong of me and I'm just asking her to let me take in what's happening. I can't pretend to be happy about missing the birth of our baby. She's so angry I'm wondering if I'm being a prick. Update 1 to 9 divided by 23 divided by 2022. My wife had the baby and they're both healthy. I asked her on her due date if she still didn't want me to be there and she said she wasn't sure. She was very stressed during labor and I could tell she was really anxious, so I did my best to comfort her and didn't ask. She did ask me to leave when it was time to push and I came back when our daughter was born. I didn't catch her, but I got to cut the cord and I held her first, which I am very grateful for. Things were okay with my wife for a while until she dismissed how I felt about missing the birth and said I was making a big deal out of a couple minutes. I then found out the reason she excluded me was because she was scared I would stop being attracted to her. I kinda lost it and I regret it, but I was sleep deprived and told her that I was disappointed in her as a mother and she put her vanity before our kid, and before me. My wife then asked for marriage counseling. We're on a wait list for a first appointment. We've been very cold towards one another when we're alone and we will probably fight soon again. I know it's not the best way to be when we have a newborn, but I can't help but blame her for this situation. I will be going back to work soon, so I'm hoping the distance work gives me from her will help me calm down and gather the strength to be more mature about it all. Update 2 to 1 divided by 10 divided by 2023. Wife and I separated for a couple months but decided to work on our marriage. Bigger issues rose to the surface in marriage counseling and the wife did apologize for keeping me out of the delivery room, although she affirmed in the same sentence that if we have a second child, she'd ask me to stay outside again. She just will not trust me to not lose attraction to her. I had never realized just how deeply insecure she is about her looks and how it affects every part of her daily life. She's a pretty woman and she always acted very confident, but it was mostly a facade that completely crumbled with the pregnancy. We ran into some issues with breastfeeding related to that, where she would eat very little to lose the pregnancy weight, and it caused her to produce less milk, consequently stressing her and the baby out more. I begged her to postpone her diet until our baby is a little older, but it was so important for her to lose weight first. I tried supporting her, but I was going through my own struggles and I couldn't understand how she could put that over the health of our baby. We're determined to make our marriage work and I'm going to do my best to understand her struggles with self-image. I have come to accept that seeing the birth of any child I have with her will not be possible. Not the idiot. Wife is not an idiot. She probably heard stories of men being creeped out and losing interest in the wife for a while. A friend of mine witnessed a C-section and was totally freaked out by seeing the layers being cut and seeing the inside of his wife. They had a dead bedroom for some 6 months until he got over that. Not the idiot. I find it completely odd that a wife is made into a vain evil partner because she wants to push alone. On one hand, I get why you want to be there. On the other, when it comes to who is in the room while giving birth and pushing, she should really be entitled to ask for lonely comfort if she needs that without being vilified. You have to cut the cord and hold the baby first, and that is just not enough. Would you be hurt if your wife wouldn't let you see the birth of your child? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for not throwing away pictures of my ex-wife? I'll try to make this simple. My girlfriend, female 30, and I, male 36, have 100% custody of my 5-year-old daughter. My daughter's biological mother moved out of state to pursue a career opportunity. A little background. My ex-wife left me over 2 years ago for someone else and hasn't been much of a mother since. My current girlfriend has effectively raised my daughter with me for a little over a year and has done a tremendous job as a stepmother. My ex-wife moved just a couple of weeks ago and now my girlfriend and I have 100% custody. As a parting gift, my ex made a scrapbook for my daughter with pictures of my daughter and her mother, and lastly, my daughter, my ex, and myself. There were 2 pictures total that included the 3 of us. I noticed my girlfriend tearing something apart and my daughter telling her to stop. She worked so hard on that. Not knowing what was going on, I stepped over to see what the commotion was all about. This was the first time I had seen or heard of the scrapbook, and was unaware of its contents until I witnessed my girlfriend removing all of the pictures that displayed my ex-wife. She was even throwing away pictures that didn't include me and were of my daughter and her mother only. I abruptly put an end to the destruction, and have been on non-speaking terms with my girlfriend since the event. 8 hours ago. I have tried to explain that I don't want the pictures for myself, and have even stored them in the garage in a box that I keep with all of my daughter's report cards and neat school projects and art. However, my GF thinks we should destroy all evidence of my ex, even though her current leave of absence is not guaranteed to be permanent. She was raised similarly, and I asked her how she would feel if her stepmother threw away all pictures of her biological mother just because she moved. She agreed that she would be upset, but argued that it doesn't matter now that she is the one raising my daughter. I'm so lost as to why she thinks this is okay. It's like jealousy and ego have gotten the beat of her, and her true self has disappeared. I'm so dumbfounded by it that I'm not certain that I'm not seeing this clearly. Am I missing something? Am I the idiot? TLDR, my girlfriend doesn't want any pictures of her stepdaughter's mother in the house, anywhere, even in storage, because she is raising my daughter, and bio mother doesn't deserve to be remembered. Edit, accidentally called GF my wife. Fixed. Also, thank you all for your responses. It seemed like such a pretty thing at the time, and now I feel like I just got flipped upside down. Update. It's been a bit over a week since my post here made the front page, and it's taken about that much time to finish reading through the responses. Your answers were overwhelmingly positive, save for a few, and today I finally solidified my position and pulled the trigger. First, the good. When I returned home, I searched the box that I had hid the pictures and scrapbook to find that they were gone. Upon inquiring of their whereabouts, I was directed under a bathroom sink. There I found the remains of the scrapbook, mostly put back together. However, I realized that at least 2 pages were missing. I also noticed that a few pictures in question weren't present. Upon questioning, I was directed to a trash can, where I found a couple torn pictures. Still, to my dismay, I found that the contents of the ravaged scrapbook were still incomplete. Further investigation revealed another stash of torn pictures. Finally, I have attained all of the pictures. Shout out to the private messages offering to reconstruct them. A massive thanks to you. 2 more days passed, and I demanded that she apologize to my daughter for destroying the scrapbook, which now resides in my daughter's room. Apology accepted. Now comes the hard part. I won't bother lying to you all, for I fear you would see through me. I considered trying to work through it. I thought, perhaps her efforts to repair the scrapbook are worthy of forgiveness. Nay, seriously guys, I can't thank you enough. If it weren't for your guidance, I would probably continue to expose my daughter to this woman. Our relationship has ended, and I am now focused solely on raising my beautiful baby girl and my career. Not the idiot. I keep a picture of my ex in my wallet. I look at it when I feel like life is tough. It's in those moments that I take out her picture, look down at it lovingly, and realize if I could make it through 16 years of marriage with that cold witch, I can make it through anything in life. Not the idiot. Good job, Opus, for not only standing up for your daughter, but yourself too. That kind of behavior was so awful, and the fact your daughter is happy she's moving out, as you said in a comment below, really does say a lot. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for taking in my sister without giving heads up to my husband? Hear me out. I was at my parents' place. I was over to help my mom out with the garden. My younger sister is staying at home for college. It seems Dad was yelling at her about something. He checked her phone and found that she is a lesbian. My mom was just watching her yell at him and backing him up. My sister was just crying. I am a pretty soft-spoken person, and I couldn't stop my dad from yelling, but when he was done, I told her to pack her stuff and took her to my place. She is a pretty sensitive person, and my parents are pretty assertive and rude sometimes. I tried to text my husband, but he was in a meeting and he rarely checks his phone while he works. He was surprised to find my sister in our home. I talked to him about it and he's okay with it, but he is upset on 2 counts. The first being that I didn't give him any heads up, and he hates being surprised by anything, and that he will have to give up his quiet room which he uses to distress after work. He just hates having things jumped on him. He knows she has to stay here for a while, and it makes sense. I feel like an idiot, as I should have done things a bit more calmly. I should have talked to my husband before getting her out of there. I was pretty emotional during this whole thing. It was one of the worst things I have witnessed. I know much he loves his room and how great it has been to his mental health to have a place to be alone and process things. It has helped our relationship a lot. I feel like I am not prioritizing him here, and I took a major decision without consulting him. Update. This is a strange update. My sister moved out and ended up leaving within a month, but her stay with us was illuminating in many ways. The things my sister pointed to helped me realize that our marriage was designed to cater to all his wants and to meet the bare minimum of my needs. I tried to bring this up with him, small things which could make me feel better, but he didn't want to. I suggested couples therapy and he thought it would just be a process of blame being pinned on one of us. I started therapy with my own money and he was upset that I was wasting it when I was perfectly fine. I started to paint again, something that he didn't like, and he didn't scream at me. He just changed his routine a little so that I had less time to paint and make a mess which he had to witness while I painted. My marriage was built around not making him sad. Throughout the relationship, I was the one who was responsible for his feelings, and I was the one who had to set mine aside to make him happy. I got out and I am living with my sister. They had an extra room they had been looking to sublet, and I took them up. It is funny that I end in the same position that my sister started out the post in. I am not happier. I miss him and I have spent almost 9 years with him, but it is liberating not to spend hours molding myself to make him happy. I am a lot calmer now. I really want to thank the commenters who planted the seed of doubts about my husband. Not the idiot. No one person can ever be responsible for the feelings of someone else. That's too much to ask and too big of a burden to place on someone you love. I'm glad you were able to help your sister while gaining perspective. I hope you find continued peace. Not the idiot. Seriously, there are no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. Just try to keep in mind that if you ever start to feel doubtful of your decision, just ask yourself, was I placed on this earth to just serve someone else? Is it my sole purpose? Like you weren't born to just be someone else's emotional luggage, where they can just dump their needs, wants on you and you have to carry them around. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not paying my stepbrother's tuition? 9 years ago, when I, female 26, was 17 and my brother, male 19, was 10, our mother died after suffering for a long time due to chronic illness. Long story short, I got severe depression and my dad remarried within a year. I got along with my stepmother and my stepbrother, male 18, quite well. My dad kicked me out on my 18th birthday and my boyfriend took me in. I put myself through 4-5 years of college by having an almost full-time job. After graduation, I landed a managing job with an insanely good salary and was able to pay the rest of my college debt and save a decent amount. My brother is my everything since he is all family I have left. August 2019, he told me our dad is kicking him out too and my boyfriend, and I took him in to live with us on 3 conditions. Stay out of trouble, do some minor chores, keep up the good grades. He followed these rules and even got a part-time job to help out with groceries. He and I had no contact with our dad the whole time, just occasionally with our stepbrother who we consider a friend. When he started college last summer, I said I would pay for it if he continued following the rules. He did and I paid. I'm incredibly proud of him because he is only getting as in doing really good. Somehow dad, stepbrother and stepmother found out I was paying. Stepbrother is going to start college this summer and they can't afford it without taking on a huge debt. So stepmother called and asked point blank if I would pay for stepbrother too. I said no, I'm happy to pay for my brother, but I won't for my stepbrother. Since then, 4 days ago, this whole side of the family including aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, etc. are calling me and ask for playing favors. I'm going crazy over it because they won't stop after multiple NOs. Am I the idiot? Edit. To answer if stepbrother still lives with them. Yes he does. He turned 18 mid-November 2020. Edit 2. The family calling me out now are all from my dad or my stepmother. My mother has no family left. Also, I reached out to them after I kicked them out but they never answered. It's the first time they are reaching out to me. Update. A few hours after I posted this I started to dig because I was wondering how they found out I was paying for my brother since no one apart from me, my boyfriend, my brother and my bank agent know. Turns out a friend of my stepmother works in the administration office of the college and she told my stepmother I was paying. I went furious as this is a clear violation of confidential information and I'm currently working with my lawyer to sue her for this. Now on to the real issue. Shortly after I posted, I reread the texts I got from my extended family. To me they seemed off. Something was irritating me and I figured out what exactly. It was the way they accused me and blamed me that ticked it off. So I called in a Zoom meeting. It turns out that when my father kicked me out they told them it was my choice to run away and he is disappointed by his child. Told the same story about my brother when he kicked him out, too. That's why they never reached out to me. However, they had 9 years to do anything and they never did, so they are out of my life. I blocked them and don't want to hear from them again. My father, stepmother and stepbrother called me again and again and again. I continued to say no and after learning they lied to everyone I didn't bother to answer their calls again. I blocked them after that. My brother and I decided to go completely no contact with everyone from now on. I'm a bit sad that I won't be able to talk to my stepbrother. Like I said, we had a quite good relationship like friends. But he supported and agreed with my dad and stepmother's way of talking to me, so I see no point in investigating time in this relationship. Guess he was also just interested in the money or he would have acted otherwise. They tried to blame me that I'm responsible if my stepbrother doesn't get a good job. I just don't care. I had to manage it myself and didn't give a damn. So I'm not going to give in. My brother, boyfriend and I are moving in another city 45 minutes away next week anyways, planned for months now, so it has nothing to do with this, so I won't be likely to bump into them. We lived in the same city until now and even though it's fairly big there was always a chance of bumping into each other. I don't think they know it and I'm not planning to tell them. If they find out I don't care. To me they don't exist from now on and my boyfriend, my brother and I will continue to live together as our little family. Also, because some people asked, my boyfriend has a big family, but they live on the other side of the world, so I only have seen them twice in the 10 years we are together. Not the idiot. I think I'm most disappointed to hear that your stepbrother, whom you considered a friend if not quite family, was behaving just as entitled as dad and stepmom. Very glad to hear that you're moving your new little family away from all this drama. Not the idiot. Wow, what a situation to be in. Good for you for moving on and finding a way to thrive on your own. Also, you're an awesome big sister for helping your brother as much as you have. As for step family and bio dad, screw me. It's absolutely astonishing the lengths your father will go to make it seem like he is a great parent and you are the bad child.